Hey everybody, welcome back to theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe YouTube, subscribe to the blog. Find me on all social networks. My username is Dan Sparrow, same as my YouTube username. I love Instagram and Snapchat lately, so follow me there if you want an immediate response. And I want to cross-promote my LinkedIn group. It's called The Clinical Trials Guru Leaders. And today's topic is going to come from a really good question somebody posted there. And this is a call to action, and a not so subtle call to action for anyone who has not joined. It's completely free. Go on LinkedIn, type in The Clinical Trials Guru Leaders. You do not want to miss out. There are topics like this every week. So today's topic is two questions from somebody, and I'm going to read some of the responses and add some commentary. So what are some of the steps that current leaders in the clinical trial space are taking to increase patient retention? Number two, what kinds of technologies are used to retain patients in clinical research that are being conducted? So my initial short response was constant follow-up with the patient or their caregiver, text reminders, emails, having a dedicated transportation service would help. Uber, we've been using a lot of Uber lately to transport some of our patients to and from the clinic because transportation sometimes is an issue. Now there is a little caveat to this. You must report that you provide transportation for your subjects, and this was news to me as of today, actually. I got an email from, or somebody at one of my clinics got an email from a project manager stating that, hey, they know we've been transporting patients to and from the clinic, and that's fine, but we need to report this to the IRB, and then the IRB will determine if we need to revise our informed consent form, because it could be considered an extra incentive, even though it's not a direct compensation to the study participant, and we're looking at it as a way to improve retention, because it absolutely does. But the IRB could potentially see this as coercion and an extra incentive. So we're going to run that through the IRB. So from now on, just to be on the safe side, if you're providing transportation for your research subjects, which you should, okay, most won't need it, but there are some that would and some that would appreciate it. And especially with Uber. Uber is so cheap, especially if you use the cheapest option, the Uber X, I think it's called. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't do this for retention. Just run it through your IRB. The wording should be just a simple sentence in the informed consent that transportation may be provided by the research site. If the IRB is okay with it, you can do it. If not, I haven't heard back yet. I've never had a problem in 10 years with this issue, but it is something that sponsors are starting to look at, apparently. So just make sure you're on the safe side there. Another answer was reminders the day before, reasonable reimbursement compensation, and most definitely knowledgeable research staff. No one wants to be at a 4-hour visit because a study coordinator doesn't know what they're doing. Very good point. Now here's a really good answer from Serene from India, actually from Mumbai. So he has a really long and really good response on the Clinical Trials Guru Leaders LinkedIn group, and I'll read some of it. So the industry at the moment is going through a phase of transition where spiraling linear cost of clinical trials have resulted in an increase in the cost of medicines. One of the most important factors for the cost of drug development is clinical trials. There are many factors in clinical trial spiraling costs, two of them being patient recruitment and patient retention. The industry has been reluctant in embracing new age technology to mitigate these factors, such as Uber, like I just mentioned. But the transition is on at the moment. There is a paradigm shift from site-targeted clinical trials to patient-centric approach in clinical trials, and here lies the key. New age technologies include clinical trial systems integrated to various patient-centric databases and blogs, which identify patients and send out communications. Systems that are coupled to electronic health records, which help identify patients rapidly. And there are even systems which use SMAC to connect with patients and doctors on identifying eligible patients for trial recruitment. On the patient retention front, this is a really good answer, Surian. I want to talk to you sometime soon about this. On the patient retention front, there are technologies such as ePRO on mobile device, which keeps talking to the patients about their well-being and send out feedback to the server for analysis. Auto-generated communications from clinical trial system to patients, as well as investigator teams when a follow-up is near for a patient. Tracking the mobile device of a patient on a map facility. This is entering dangerous territory, actually, to understand the whereabouts of a probable lost to follow-up patient. Hassle-free debit payment systems for patients through the clinical trial system. Scheduling patients' visits in a window period if the patient seems to be unwell or unable to come to a certain visit. And a really good answer, I mean, it just goes on and on. If you're not in the Clinical Trials Guru Leaders LinkedIn group, you're missing out. Bottom line is there's lots of new technologies. We're on the forefront of a lot of changes. We're already seeing it with remote monitoring, with risk-based monitoring. Shameless plug, Intralinks Via is a sponsor of the show. They're leading the way for virtual workspaces, which isn't directly going to help patient retention, but it is going to help site efficiency and CRA efficiency, and ultimately I think it's going to improve safety and at least the safety monitoring of study participants, because you've got some sites that are so busy they don't even have time to follow up on adverse events or serious adverse events of patients. And with the risk-based monitoring, not only will the sites be able to do that, but the CRAs will know where to look at. So retention's huge, recruitment's huge, transportation is a huge one. Just make sure you run it by your IRB, and then a whole bunch of technologies coming up. So those are two ways, or actually those are many ways, that the clinical research industry is working on and transitioning into improving retention and screening as well, enrollment and then retention. So those are the two biggest problems in clinical research, probably since the beginning of clinical research itself. All right, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go to the Clinical Trials Guru Leaders LinkedIn page. You should see it on the links here. And this is Dan from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.